What's up, everybody? Welcome into another Talk Toomey Tuesday night.
We're hanging out with Toomey with Talk Toomey Podcast. This is David from Dead.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the show. We've got a great show this week with Brittney Slayes of Unleash the Archers. Brittney, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am doing well. Finally getting a chance to talk to you once again about this great new album. It's funny, I've got to now live with the album for a couple of weeks now, and man, I have to say Abyss is a pretty great album.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Go ahead and start off by telling us a little bit about Abyss. I know it's a kind of a sequel to the last album, so just kind of take us on the journey of Unleash the Archers Abyss.
Sure. Yeah, it is a sequel to Apex. So in Apex, we were introduced to our main characters, our tragic hero, the Immortal, and our villainous sorceress, the Matriarch. And basically, the Immortal is cursed to serve whoever awakens him from his 1,000-year slumbers. And in Apex, he is awakened by the Matriarch. She gets him to do some horrible, evil things for her, and then betrays him at the end of the story by, instead of setting him free, as she had promised, setting him back to sleep, to wait for when she would have need of him again. So fast forward about 50 years, in Abyss, the Immortal awakens by himself on a starship out in space. The Matriarch is nowhere to be seen, and he decides that this is now the time, and he's going to take his revenge out on her and rid the universe of her evil for once and for all.
And now with something this, I guess, graphic novel-ish, is this something that you have to take a long time to write? Is this something that's always going on in your head? How long does it take you to get to a point to where you're writing a sequel to something so massive?
Well, so we wrote it all actually back in 2016 when we first started writing for Apex. And initially we were thinking that we'd release it as a 2-disc record, so Apex and Abyss as one release. But then we decided that, we just weren't going to be able to spend as much time on each track as we wanted to. So we put Abyss aside, put that side of the story away for a little while and all the riffs that we had started for it, and then just focused solely on Apex. And then the story changed kind of a bit during the writing process for Apex. And then again, after, we got all the feedback and reviews and everything on Apex, and just the parts that our fans really enjoyed, that kind of thing, that then changed the story a little bit more for Abyss again. And for the most part, the foundation was always there. The whole, the fact that Apex takes place in a terrestrial realm and Abyss is, out in space, that was always the plan. So little things here and there changed. So just kind of as the music progressed, the story progressed.
When it comes to writing songs and you're telling stories, is there a certain time where you go to the band and you're like, hey, I need another 8 bars here to kind of complete the story? Or do you work around what they give you, or how does that work?
Well, there were points where I was kind of like, can this one be a little bit longer? I need to tell quite the story here. And yeah, they would just kind of write around that. There was a point where when we were writing Legacy, and Andrew came to me basically with the first, that first kind of 3 sections of it, of what the song is. And he's like, okay, this is what I got, and I don't know where to go from here. And I was just like, well, let's just kind of do that again. It's a really cool part. It's really easy for me to sing to. It was like melodies just started coming right away. So I was kind of like, I think I can really use this to tell quite a bit of the story in a different way. So there's no traditional chorus on that song, for instance, and we left it that way just because the whole thing is basically like prose, I guess you could say. It's a little bit of a an odyssey sort of, just telling one story all throughout. And so Andrew was just kind of like, yeah, no, that works. And he worked around it and made it so that I had no repeating parts. It was all just telling one long story all through the whole thing. So in times like that, yeah, we definitely worked around each other.
Now I know that with the album coming out, obviously the question to everybody now is, what do you do with coronavirus? And I see you guys are doing a live stream on August 22nd. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll kind of move on with the question there.
Sure. So we're gonna do like it's a pre-recorded set, so we didn't want to deal with Wi-Fi issues, which you and I are both very familiar with now. So we didn't want to take the risk that something could drop out halfway through the show, or just any kind of technical issue could come up. So we're gonna record it a couple days before, and then post it for 24 hours, and it'll be a completely new, brand new set that we're recording just for this, and we're going to play a lot of the new stuff. So we're really excited for that, and a lot of old favorites as well, and then probably some songs that you won't get to hear live ever again. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be weird. We're just gonna play it like a regular show, and imagine all of our fans are on the other side of all the cameras. So it's definitely gonna be weird, but we're excited.
Doing something like that, I mean, it gives you a little bit of a chance to do maybe a little bit more production. Are you going to be able to kind of pull out some dragons and things like that, for the show?
What's so funny is that Grant like actually just sent a link to this like smoke breathing dragon that they have available, like
Telling you.
Canadian Tire. I was just like, no, what? We don't do dragons. There's no dragon in this story.
Well,
Um,
it's kind of funny. I was actually watching some live videos, and I guess you were on tour Dragon Force.
yes,
So they
yes.
had a giant dragon in the background, and I was like,
They
please let that be their dragon. But then I
no.
realized they were on tour with Dragon Force.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Dragon Force's dragon. But they used our fog for it, so they didn't
Oh,
have
well,
their
there
own
you
fog
go.
machine. So
Oh,
we helped make it cool. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess we'll have like some lighting and all that sort of stuff. And but honestly, I'm just not good at that side of things. I am not that person that deals with all that when it comes to the stage. I am all about interacting with the audience and connecting with people. And I honestly, I could play with nothing. I could do an acoustic set by myself, probably in the middle of a town square, and it wouldn't really matter. I don't know. None of that stuff is like top of my list. So if the boys want smoke and dragons, they can do it, but I'm not. I'm not in charge.
well, it does seem to be kind of odd because I feel like, and from my playing days too, the bigger the crowd, the easier it was to do. Once you got down to like 10, 15 people where you could see each individual face, that's when the nerves kind of hit and you felt watched. But for some reason, you'd play in front of 20,000 people and it's not as a big a deal. So knowing that you're being filmed and it's going to be critiqued and everything else, I feel like that's a little bit more pressure than maybe even just a festival show.
Probably, yeah, because there's a lot going on during a live show, There's like a mosh pit, and there's a guy jostling you, and there's some chick spilling her beer, and so you're not like constantly focused on it at all times. Whereas with a live stream, like what else are you doing, Maybe you got a cat bugging you in your living room or something, but like it's really so it's gonna be, yeah, you got to be on your A game for sure.
And the other thing you guys are doing is you're doing a D&D tournament with 5 random people that pre-order the album. Are you a big D&D player? Is this something you're looking forward to, or are you just kind of going along for the ride with this one?
I am really looking forward to it. I'm not a big D&D player, but that's only because I don't have time. If I could, I would do it, but I just don't. Like I have zero time. It's so frustrating, and so I would love to be able to, dedicate a whole weekend or whatever, that kind of a thing to it. So it's really going to be kind of based on this adventure guide thingy that I'm writing for Abyss for the record, which will be available later, of course, after we go through it with the contest winners, and so people can kind of do their own thing with it. And I just have a lot of D&D fans that come to me and say, I love your music and I listen to Apex while I play, or I'm doing a campaign around your album, like can you give me some details? So I just thought it would be fun to do something special for all those D&Ders out there that also happen to be fans of Unleash the Archers.
Yeah, it seems like a fun thing. I mean, if I was a big D&D person and a big fan and able to do all that, I mean, it's something outside the box that you can do right now because so many people are trying to do so many things. You got Metallica announcing a drive-in theater tour or showing or whatever, and
Mhm.
and just trying to find different ways to connect with the fans through all this.
Mhm.
And I think that if we do it right, I think that in the end, maybe you can add a D&D tournament to the next tour. You can.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be able to find so much stuff to kind of put together that'll open the realm of possibility for touring bands to come.
Totally. Yeah, you gotta kind of innovate these days, right? You gotta come up with fun new things. So, hopefully there'll be a lot of cool ideas out there for everyone to get involved and to stay close to the fans because can't do it live anymore. So, gotta come up with something else.
And the one thing I did like is, we talked last time you and I talked that no one will ever see. You just, you've done a lot of fun things online on YouTube and things with the reaction videos,
Yeah.
because a lot of people did reaction videos to you. So you did reaction videos to reaction videos. So
Yeah.
go ahead and react to that. Tell me how much fun that was.
I was awesome, and I do plan on doing more. I hope to have a couple different reaction options on there for your viewing pleasure. Um, yeah, the YouTube was kind of something that I was doing when there was a bit of a lull in time there. I didn't have much going on, but of course it's the exact opposite right now. So I haven't really had a lot of time to dive into it. But hopefully, maybe in the fall, I'll come up with some fun new ideas and maybe start posting some of the Twitch streams on there if they're not copyright claimed for music, which happens a lot because can't even post our own tunes on there. So, yeah, it. Hopefully, I'll get some more content up there. But the reactions are a lot of fun. It's really funny because the reaction community has supported us quite a bit, and we're really excited. We're just like super honored that people are out there happy to. Hey, you should react to Unleashed Chargers next, and it's just
All
it's
right.
it's like super rad.
Yeah, the reaction video community is very. My ex roommate was a gigantic fan of hip hop head, listens to
Yeah,
heavy metal, that all that type stuff.
yeah.
Um, let's pull up the Soulbound video here and just kind of go through, kind of talk a little bit about kind of the process behind doing this. I know that this was made during COVID, so you've got to kind of be creative here. So let us know what went on here.
Yeah, it was difficult. We had to social distance as much as possible, and then in instances where we couldn't, we had to keep production to only 6 of us. So basically, we were aside from that one scene with the extra, we were like never in the same room as him, and all of our performance video shots were. I mean, there were points where we played together, but for the most part, most of the footage they used is just from when we were all separated. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was filmed over like more than a few days, so lots of different locations and organization going on, and just trying to work around as much as we possibly could. And for the character-driven parts, actually, Grant couldn't even be there because we had to travel for where the shooting location was. So you can see that guy in there. That's actually Andrew's brother, Cam, right there with having the headache. So he stepped in when Grant was unable to do that, because otherwise Grant would have had to quarantine away after he got home from
Okay.
his family, which would have been horrible. So, and leaving his wife alone with 3 kids during a pandemic is not cool. So, yeah, no, it was interesting, but it was a lot of fun.
I do believe he's showing all the signs of COVID-19. So, I mean, I do think it would be a good idea for him to quarantine after the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much fun is it for you to get to, just kind of dress up and with the prosthetics and the makeup and the, just everything going on here?
Oh, I love that part. This is the true me right here. It's all black sclera lenses and I don't know, death runes on my face. Um, yeah, no, that's really cool. It's like music videos are really important to us. We always put absolutely everything we can into them and try and make them unique and engaging and something worth coming back to again and again. So it takes a lot of time and effort, and by the end of the usually it's like, oh yeah, okay, good 8 hour shoot turns into 10, 12, 14 hours sometimes. So it can be really tiresome, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, we had a lot of fun on this one. Those lenses though, man, they burn at the end. I think they said that they had like a max wear time of 4 hours, and I think we were in them for probably about 8.
Oh,
So it was just like by the end of it, Andrew's face at the end where he's just like, oh, it's not because he's angry that he's in the got pulled in by the matriarch. It's because his eyeballs were literally on fire.
The one thing I was, looking into the band and things like that, obviously being from Canada, when you think of Canada and female fronted, I know it's not a genre, but a lot of rockin' ladies coming from Canada, Cobra and the Lotus, Kitty, Alanis, Biff Naked, Sumo Psycho, Avril. If you got so many people coming from Canada, what do you think it is about Canada that makes the ladies rock up there?
I don't know. Segregation? No. um, I don't know. I think that the heavy scene up here is very well supported, and yeah, I think just kind of a little bit of an alternative society in general. And I mean, that's not like it's funny that you say that there's a lot of rockin' ladies that come out of Canada, because there's a lot of just women in metal in general that are kicking ass from all over the world. And it's I think I don't know. Are we producing more proportionately to the rest of the world? Maybe I don't really know, but I guess there's definitely something in the water. I know I loved heavy metal from a very young age, so it could be these horrible cold winters that force you to stay
Right.
inside and do nothing but listen to music all day.
What was some of the earliest stuff that you got into metal wise?
Megadeth was like the first record.
Perfect.
Then Tool, White Zombie, Pantera. The usual crowd.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was older that like I just even discovered power metal. So Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Queensryche and all that kind of stuff was quite a bit later. Yeah.
Now the tour with Dragon Force, was it able to complete or was it cut short?
Destroyed. the,
Wow.
the tour that never was. We were 6 days in. We had played 4 shows, and yeah, I mean, the promoters were not saying a word about any possibility of there being an issue whatsoever. So we were just kind of like, humming along, not a big deal. And people were saying like, "Oh, are you worried about coronavirus?" And it was like, "What? No, no, that's over in Europe, no big deal." And then, lo and behold, we woke up in Minneapolis, and the venue was just like, "What? No, you're not coming in here. Everything's closed. The whole country is closing. Like, no venues, no shows." We were just like, "Oh, I guess we better get on a flight home." Like, what? And yeah, and then after that, shows just dropped like flies, domino effect, one after the other. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it was
it's
pretty
it's been
crappy.
a mess. It's been a mess, and it kind of puts a damper on releasing a new album. Like we said, Unleash the Archer's Abyss out August 21st, Napalm Records. But yeah, it's got to be a tough time to try to put something out. And but like I said earlier, it's also maybe an innovative time.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta kind of come up with new things. Hence why we're doing the D&D and all that sort of stuff. And um, I mean, the record was pushed back a little bit. Originally, it was supposed to come out in July, and then we pushed it back a month, and then we were talking about maybe pushing back further. But then I was kind of like, you know, personally, I'm excited for new music. I'm constantly on my Spotify, like, who released what, what's new, what's going on, and I'm a part of a few Facebook groups that are constantly like, okay, what's in your release radar today? Like, let's share so we all get new music all the time. And I was just kind of like, let's just go with it and see what happens, and hope for the best, because I really feel like people are hungry for new music right now, and this could be like an awesome time to release something. And it's difficult because you don't know what people are going to be able to do financially due to have so many people having lost their jobs. But at least you could get way more streams now than you would have before, perhaps. Who knows? Well, we'll never be able to compare. If only we could step into an alternate universe where this didn't happen, and see what it was like. But we can't, so we're just going to kind of do the best that we can with what we've got. And our fans have been amazing so far and super supportive, so I'm honestly really just not worried, taking it day by day.
Are you into the idea of doing a socially distanced concert? There are shows going on right now that are at 25% capacity, half capacity, outdoors, things like that. Would you be open to that, or is that something are you in the want to wait till the vaccine camp?
Yeah, we're kind of not really. I mean, I get it if people are really doing what they can to make it safe. I just don't feel like we're kind of in that place yet where people are, or everyone involved is going to take, the situation responsibly. So we're just not planning on doing anything until 2021, and hopefully things will be either cleared up by then, or protocols will be in place. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, we just don't really want to take the chance, especially like with Grant. He's got 3 kids. Like, even if he is immune to it, he brings it home. His children could die. So we're just not even going there, really. Yeah.
All right. So we've got the D&D, we've got the live stream. What else are you guys thinking up? Do you have anything else working for the release of the new album?
We are working on a couple more music videos. We're actually filming one this week. So, like, crazy busy this week. And so we'll put out a couple more, probably, maybe 2, 3. I don't know. It depends how much time we have in the fall. Just keep making music videos. Who knows if we're bored out of our minds. And probably Twitch. We're just going to try and stream on Twitch as much as possible, I think, is really the plan. Impromptu jam sessions or Q&As, or just hanging out with some beers on a Friday, whatever comes to mind. Yeah.
I think that's one thing that's during this pandemic, I've gotten this program, and I know a lot of other podcasters have turned to going online, and I think it's definitely, opened us up to new possibilities too. So now we can do, live shows and live streaming shows and things like that. So once again, there's good and the bad of all of this having to stay home stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think we're going to get a lot of rad albums out of this. I think.
Yeah, 2021 is going to be hey, can you do an interview with this person and this person and that person?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to
be. Well, great stuff. Well, Brittney, thanks for taking the time today. And like we said, the new album Abyss out August 21st, Napalm Records. And just thanks for taking some time with me.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we could make it work this time, and I wasn't doing the robot Wi-Fi dance.
Glitch out. All right. Thank you, Brittney.
Have a good one.